It is the us versus them ideology. It is rooted in almost all religious beliefs across the world. It is basically saying it is my way or the highway. This is cancel culture, an ideology as old as mankind itself. Cancel culture has destroyed the careers of so many celebrities and politicians across the world. It has destroyed families and communities of famous or rather influential people. Hello and welcome to SMA Talks, the podcast. My name is Ayodeji. And on today's episode, I have a fantastic person. He's none other than my friend and my colleague in the article industry. When I say article industry, it's because he has written so many articles in his own right. He's my friend Usman Abdullahi Bala. Usman, he hails from Adamawa State. He has a BSc in Pure and Applied Physics, currently doing an MBA in VIEW in our university, Abuja, Nigeria. He has done so many things, written articles, organized public speaking events over the years. In fact, that's how I met Usman. And he has been an amazing friend, tennis player, and we can go on and on. But most importantly, he's a liberal northerner. So, Usman, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Ayodeji. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I just want to tell us what you mean by your liberal northerner.
Okay.
Because I'm sure people must be wondering, what is a liberal northerner?
Oh, liberal northerner.
Yes.
I think when we were talking about coming to do this podcast,
Yeah.
I was having a conversation somewhere with someone,
Yeah.
and we were talking about liberation and all of that. And I think that's how I came up with the liberal northerner thing. So people in the north actually know not to be liberal. They hold on to their culture so tight, and they cannot let go of it, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
So over the years, let me say 3 years ago, I've come to a space where I've understood things in different aspects, things in different perspectives,
Yeah.
even understood the religion better than the way I used to understand it back then.
Yeah.
So actually that gave me like a foundation to really be very open-minded, because I mean liberation comes with having an open mind.
Yeah.
So I actually became very open-minded to things, and I don't see fault in things so easily, and I think that even made me become a better person. So I believed I am a liberal northerner.
Yeah.
So you can come however you are, your culture, your religion, your way of life, and I will accept you.
And you see, sorry to cut you, because this is the perfect reason why your explanation just gave me the perfect reason why I wanted you to be the guest and why we should discuss this idea of cancel culture.
Yes.
Because I know we look at it from different gaze, and it is very important we address an issue like this that's been happening since time memorial, and a lot of people we can give examples of Nigerian politicians, artists, actors, not just in Nigeria, in Africa, around the world, that have been on either the good side, even businesses that have been on the good side of cancel culture, or individuals who have actually had their careers destroyed because of cancel culture.
Exactly.
So, but first of all, I'd like to ask you, do you believe in second chance?
And I believe in second chance, third chance, fourth chance. Like there is no even limit to chances you can give people.
Yes.
So not even second chance at all. I mean, give them chances.
Yeah.
They are people. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because they're people, they make mistakes.
That's how we are created.
Exactly. So the idea that someone is perfect, or you must say. I know many of our listeners. Everybody literally knows Kevin Hart.
Yes.
He's one of the most successful, in fact, the highest paid, comedian right now in the world.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I believe in 2019, Kevin Hart, he was to host the Oscars.
Okay.
Yeah, and a tweet came out, that he had said something about 10 years ago. So he tweeted something 10 years ago.
Okay.
And because of that, he was cancelled. And for you to know, give you a perspective. So Kevin Hart has been cancelled like 3 to 4 times over the course of his career. So for different issues. So this one came out and he was given an ultimatum by the Oscars that it was either he apologizes or he steps down and they replace him with another host.
Okay.
So Kevin Hart refused to apologize, and the Oscars ended up not having not having any host. So that was the year the Oscar did not. There was nobody to host the Oscars.
Wow.
Yeah, so they just did the event without a host.
Oh wow.
So what I'm driving at is Kevin Hart was cancelled because of a tweet he made 10 years ago. So what do you think about that? Do we just cancel people because what they said? Because if you cancel me for something I said 10 years ago, in 10 years ago, in fact, exactly. So my views have changed on things. So what do you think about such a thing?
Like the example you gave.
Yeah.
I mean, he mentioned something which, if the listeners do their research, they would understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, but 10 years ago, he made that statement. I mean, in a tweet. So today, of course, he was cancelled based on what he said then.
Yeah.
I believe they didn't do justice to him, because that was him 10 years ago. I mean, the world was actually crawling out of some things 10 years ago, and now, I mean, a lot of things have actually happened. Like, I mean, the world have actually changed to something very different, and people living in that part of the world, they even move like in a very fast pace than we, like in this part of the world.
Yeah.
So I believe they didn't do justice to him, and they would have given him chances to make statements on what he said. Okay, I think he had an interview to clarify things, right?
Yes,
but
he
they
did.
want him to come straight forward and maybe condemn his tweet or something.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be that way, actually.
I mean, the question I ask, or I like to ask, is where did we get to a point in the world where we should all be perfect? I mean, I'm not perfect.
Okay.
You know, you're not perfect.
We cannot be perfect.
We are not perfect. So why should we always be subjected to, you know, the imperfect things we did while we're growing up or that we did some years ago?
Yeah.
And why should we always have to, you know?
Okay, let me explain something to you.
Yeah.
So the average human being
Yes.
wants other people to be perfect. So, but the truth is, even coming from a religious perspective, people were not created to be perfect. Like, people were created not to be perfect. Even God himself said it in some places, that people are not perfect. I mean, he never created any person to be perfect, apart from the Muslim faithful. Well, we know one of our prophets, we consider him as the only perfect person that was being created. But people are naturally not created to be perfect. But now everybody wants everybody to be perfect. So there's no day or no time that we're going to reach that place where we are all going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And that's where just accepting people the way they are, I think that's an atom that would make things balanced to some extent. But we cannot be perfect. So I've been in a place where I've always tried to be perfect in whatever I do, in my education, my way of life, my everything. But I reached to a point where I realized I cannot be perfect.
Yeah.
I've been always trying to either lie to myself or just push myself.
Usman, let me help you. Perfection is the perfect lie. There's nothing, you know, as a perfect human being.
Exactly.
And for people listening to us, I just want to clarify that it's not as if we're trying to make a case for people to do wrong things and there shouldn't be consequence.
No.
Because the idea of holding people accountable, you know, for their action is a commendable one, you know, which we must all agree, right? But the question is, where do we draw the line? Like, where do we draw the line? Where do we open the curtain of forgiveness to people? You know, when is the definition of done? After we hold people accountable for their actions, when is the definition of done that, so, you have done this, you have been punished, and now you're allowed to, you know, do some certain things, come into the society and all of that.
So I think that's
I can give an example, right? So Will Smith, I don't know, I'm just mentioning American celebrities. But okay, so Will Smith, for example, I believe was he the last year's Oscars?
Okay.
Yeah. So he was nominated. He was to receive an award. He went there with his wife. There was another celebrity comedian who was hosting the show, which was
The
Chris
joke.
Rock.
Yes.
Right? And Chris Rock was cracking a joke about Will Smith's wife, Jada
Yeah.
Pinkett Smith.
Yeah.
And Will Smith was angry. He was yelling, "Get my wife's name out of your mouth." And he stood up. He went to give him a punch, in the face, and blah blah blah. And because of that, people have cancelled Will Smith.
Yes.
After that, he has released a movie called, I believe, is Emancipation.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm right, but cross-check about the name of the movie.
Yeah,
Anyway, so that movie, a lot of people have boycotted that movie. That they're not going to watch it. They have cancelled Will Smith
Because of his action.
because of his action. Now, personally, I love Will Smith. I've always been a Will Smith fan, like from day one.
Wow.
From back when he was doing it. I've been following his career all these years, and I've admired and loved him as an artist, right? Of course, I don't tolerate violence, and I don't support violence, and I don't like that he attacked, a fellow, not just a fellow black man, but a fellow human being, whether you're black, white, and a colleague in the industry, which was Chris Rock. Now, that does not mean, to me, I won't be on the bandwagon with several others and say, because of what he has done, I'm going to cancel him, and there's nothing good that'll come out of Will Smith.
Yeah.
He has failed. He has done. No. Because we don't know the headspace he was,
Yes.
right? I'm not making a case for violence.
Yes, I
But I'm
understand.
saying this guy, to me, has proven to be a good guy all this while. One day he snapped. Why not let's ask questions or hear from him? And now since then he has even apologized.
Yeah, he did.
He has apologized. He has tried to reach out to Chris Rock to apologize to him. He has, tried to make amends and tried to beg for forgiveness, not once, twice, 3 times publicly. So why should where's our room for forgiveness? We have all fucked up in different ways.
So the thing
why can't we forgive others, Usman?
Exactly. So the thing is, going back to the question you asked,
Yeah.
where is the line and all of that. So the thing is, people will always do what they want to do at every point in time.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I can speak for me. Then maybe if other people find it interesting, they can emulate. So I've always tried to create this space of having conversations with people.
Yes.
I used to be a little bit hostile even with my siblings and some of my friends.
Yeah.
So, but I've grown to have this space where I can bring you to board. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about any issue that we have. What do you think? Oh, why did you do so? Okay, I did so because of so and all of that. Then we all come to being on the same page and we move. So I think when people start giving other people room to
benefit of the doubt.
Exactly. So to have a space where they can have a conversation, sit down, talk about this thing instead of just giving me names or deciding how I am and all of that. So based on what you talk about Will Smith, what naturally Nigerians particularly always talk about this thing, true color.
Yeah.
So what Will Smith did, that was his true color. That was what people were saying. So all of these years that he's been good, he's been acting, everybody have been liking him, we've been watching his movies and all of that.
Yes.
That wasn't his true color.
So he fucks up one day,
and
that fuck up is his true color.
His true color. So I can give like a very example that almost everyone has come across.
Yeah.
You might actually be of help to some people. Every time they call you, you're like there on time on. Okay, yes, what do you want? I can
You're
help.
available, your time,
Everything.
your resources,
Exactly.
your money,
Everything.
whatever.
So, but just one day, they might just call you, oh, can I get something? Or can you be there for me? And maybe you cannot show up for them at that particular point in time.
Yeah.
Do you know that will be your true color? And they'll be like, I've seen his true color today.
Yeah.
So all of this while that
I
I've been
agree
good,
with you
you've not seen my true color. It's just now that I couldn't do something and that's my true color.
Your true color.
People are not being just.
I mean, it's always funny how people feel, other humans, we feel we have the right to define what someone's true color is. So someone does something and we can selectively pick the character or the situation, circumstance that speak to our bias.
Exactly.
And so the person does something you don't like, and that instant you have defined it that action the person did, that is the person's true color.
I mean, that's really
and this shows us, right, that no one is safe, when it comes to this cancel culture.
Yes,
and it affects all sort of persons, common people, all races, gender, ethnicity, it knows no bias.
Yeah,
Cancel
it
culture
knows no
affects
bias.
everyone.
Exactly.
And it made me realize that it is important, we give people platforms so we can air our views. I've always been a fan. I've been that guy that always preaches that it is important we listen to our intellectual enemies.
Yeah.
You don't just listen to people that have the same point of view as you.
Yes.
I've been fortunate for many years, for example, to be part of a global community called Those of Society.
Okay.
And in that community, there are all sort of people in that community. We have it virtually. So there are Nigerians, there are Africans in the community, there are Europeans, North Americans, South Americans.
People from different races.
Different places across the world, white, black, gay, lesbian, like all sort of people on that in that community.
Okay.
And because of that, we listen to different people. And over the years, we have been able to learn and understand the point of view of other people, where they are coming from. And now something strikes me whenever we have that, which is the idea that when you give someone, for example, when you give someone a bad idea, a platform that allows them to open themselves up to scrutiny or criticism, what you realize is the bad idea will get exposed. Now, if you do not give that person the platform or the opportunity to have a dialogue or have a conversation,
yes, exactly.
what you do is that you make that bad idea fester, because they will be in isolation and they will start recruiting people with a similar bad idea.
Bad ideas.
Yeah, and because you didn't give them room for scrutiny or to criticize it, so it will continue to fester and to be more prosperous, in secret. And all of a sudden, that's what builds terrorist organizations, for example.
Sure.
You can talk about Boko Haram.
Yes.
You can talk about the Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
Because you just sit and wonder that who says education for women or children is bad.
It's bad. I mean,
because you just realize this doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
So it's because you have to learn to bring all sort of people to the table and discuss with them and understand their point of view. Where are you coming from? Why are you even thinking this way? What has happened to you?
I think this takes me back to the question you asked me about what do I mean by being a liberal northerner.
Yes.
So this thing has actually been a thing in the north, where they actually cancel you for your actions.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, that's just who you are and all of that.
Yes.
You get. But I came to realize that people are actually so marvelous and people are actually dynamic in their own way.
Yeah.
So after having like lots of conversation, recently I started something that I was I did something that actually made me realize a lot of things. So there's this platform in the north. It's actually made for northerners. They come to the platform anonymously to talk about things, to talk about their marriages, to talk about things, and people would advise them anonymously. You can choose to be anonymous or not. So I posted something on that platform, and I asked people with maybe the same thought to reach out to me through a particular Gmail. I didn't want to disclose myself, so I just posted anonymously and asked them, you can reach out to me if you have the same issue or something. I cannot I cannot imagine how many people I couldn't even read out all the emails because people that were talking bad things about that particular thing I posted. A lot of people actually reached out through the emails explaining their own challenges they were having, which I was now trying to reply. Some of the emails that I could reply because I cannot reply all the emails. So people have challenges. Now they are afraid to come out to the public to talk about their challenges because of people will cancel them.
They don't want to be cancelled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't want to be cancelled, of course. And of course, if they, the moment you get cancelled, it's very, very, very disturbing. So now I think this actually emanates from, let me say this, and that's the truth, from our parents.
Okay.
Even when we were growing up, we didn't have platform to talk.
Yeah.
Do you get, like, when we didn't have any platform to talk? I'm going to talk about my family, and I discussed that with my father, and we all laughed about it.
Okay.
I've never come first position in the class.
Yes.
Like, okay, this kind of thing that everybody in the first position know. When I was in primary school, I used to be like the 30th, 35.
Yeah.
Like, if not even last, maybe second to the last, even while I was in the nursery school.
Yeah.
And even secondary school. So my father will always beat me when I bring my results home.
Yes.
That's why the people having first position, do they have to?
Do they have
just
to? Yes.
This normal.
How much was their own
normal-
school fees?
Exactly, and all of that.
African parents.
But then,
Yeah.
while I was actually playing, because I like to play very well, so
Yes.
I wasn't actually concentrating on the school. But then on the other side, I knew how to draw. Like I knew how to do some artistic stuff.
Yeah.
When it comes to even when I was small, when it comes to organizing, I didn't think I can organize very well. So they weren't looking at that aspect of me. They were only looking at this aspect and that.
Your
So when
academics.
I got to the university, I actually graduated. I think position-wise, I graduated as the third position in my department.
Nice.
Who could imagine someone that used to take last position could go to pure and applied physics and come third position?
Wow.
So after I graduated, I came home with my result and I showed my dad. And after some time, we had a conversation. I said, "You used to beat me because I used to come 30th, and everybody thought I'm the
Dumbest,
best person."
yeah.
And my sister then, she would always come first. My
Hmm.
immediate sister, she would always come first,
Yeah.
and the comparison.
Yeah.
So, but then I asked him, so now where is all of this? I mean, look at my result. I'm pure and
Yeah.
applied physics. Do you know how many calculations I went through to bring out this result? How many sleepless nights I had? I mean, I didn't feel there was justice for me growing up. You guys were really looking at the actual aspect of me,
Yeah.
and that's it. So he was like, yes, he understood that,
Yeah.
and he didn't think there was need to actually beat a child because he didn't do well in school. I mean, there are other aspects the child could do well and all of that, and he actually accepted. Now, because I opened a conversation,
Yes.
I don't know if you get it.
You didn't cancel your father.
I didn't.
see?
He did it. I don't know the reason why he did it, but all I did was
Yeah.
create a platform for us
Because
to have a
now we
conversation.
could look at it from the point of maybe he wasn't informed enough. He was beaten because he could argue that he was beaten out of love. Right?
Maybe.
And he could also argue that, oh, you became a better person today
Mhm.
because he was able to instill the discipline and make sure you blah blah blah, whatever it is
Whatever, yeah,
that his
yeah.
argument could be. So what's saying, you see, put it this way, if an idea is bad or if an idea is fragile, if it's so fragile, then to me it means the idea is bad.
Okay.
It shows that the idea is shy from criticism
Okay.
and scrutiny,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
If something is happening and we think it doesn't make sense, we should be able to have conversation
About it.
about it. The
Yes.
moment you strip away having dialogue and conversation, you are creating an authoritative society.
Society.
Yes, whereby people are scared to have conversations. People are scared to air their views.
Their views. I mean,
You are eliminating what we are all enjoying right now, which is
Access.
called a free society.
Society, exactly.
Yeah. So if you're trying to cancel free speech and you don't want to hear from the other side, it's a terrible thing,
It is.
and it's a no-go area that we should always try to avoid.
avoid it.
So let me give you a good example. In this our woke age, woke
Yeah.
world that we are around the world, I mean, we have seen politicians that, like I said in our intro, this is something that's cancelled. This cancel culture has really affected careers of artists, politicians. So you hear in America or in the West, for example, you hear people, presenters will tell politicians to define something I think is very simple. What is a woman?
Okay.
Yeah. And politicians can't seem to define what a
Yeah,
woman
a
is.
woman is, yeah.
Yeah, because they're afraid of offending some other persons. And why are you afraid of something that the definition is clear?
It's very clear.
And you're trying to confuse yourself, trying to confuse every other person in the world, trying to create, words that do not. I mean, what is a woman? Really?
Yeah,
What is a man? Something I believe is so evident, it's so clear that
Very clear.
a woman is someone who was born biologically female.
That's it.
That's it. That's what a woman is.
Yeah.
Now, I might be cancelled for this, my opinion I just heard now. But guess what, my SME listeners? I do not care because I feel I'm telling you guys what I believe is the
Yeah.
truth. What I know, we don't even believe.
So now,
What
what do you
I
think
know is
about,
the truth.
What do you think about now other people holding to their beliefs than actually just what you said, like you don't care?
Yeah.
So now, what do you think about people that do not care?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you get what I'm
Oh,
saying.
okay. I get what you're saying.
You just
Yeah.
find your thing this is how you think it is, or this is how it is
Yeah.
to you, and you don't care what other people would say or think.
Okay,
So
so
then I think there's a controversy on that as well.
yes.
So in as much as we want to have conversations,
Okay,
then
so
we should also. Do you think we should also care about what people would think or say
yeah.
about what we believe or what we do? Or
Oh, okay. So I think so that was let me take that back. That was kind of a joke.
Okay.
The fact that I said I don't care.
Okay.
Okay, so the truth is I care,
Uh-huh.
and also I can also argue I do not care.
Okay.
Now this is me being very
Yeah,
truthful.
yeah.
Now the reason why I care is because there has to be a fundamental truth in every society. So there and some fundamental truths have to be, like I said, fundamental. So a society, the fact that a society has gotten to a point whereby we can't actually define what a woman is or what a man is, and if your definition is not in the circle of what some other persons are trying to tag you as, because they have brought out all forms of words and saying, oh, a woman is fluid, so anybody can be a woman, that sort of thing.
Okay, yeah.
So what I'm saying is there has to be a fundamental truth, because the society we are building, or the society we currently have, can only sustain itself when there are clear, fundamental truths about it. So for example, for a child to grow, research has shown, and for a child to be successful as an adult, he has to have, for example, maybe a father and a mother. Now, that does not mean if you're a single parent, maybe dad alone, maybe your wife died, or you divorced to raise your child, or the wife is a crackhead, whatever it is, or the mother too. I mean, a lot of us people in Africa, friends in Nigeria, for example, that I know, grew up in single parents. Maybe the mother alone, the father was not there, and blah blah blah. So I'm saying that there are some things that have to be fundamental. For example, there's daylight and there's sunset.
Yes.
There's no, so we cannot say, oh, there's the sunset, so night is actually day. Day is actually night. Yeah, because this has guided, our way of thinking. Now, I'm not trying to say some things are not bullshit in some sense, right? And the whole idea of culture is that culture changes.
So, but then I have one question.
Okay.
So, who created the social norms?
Okay, so human beings,
apart from nature,
okay,
like the day the sunset you talked about, who created the other social norms?
Okay, so
do people created it?
Yes, people create social norms.
That means people can also recreate.
Oh, beautiful! People can also recreate it. That's what I'm saying. So the idea of culture is that culture changes. There are a lot of cultures that we do not like, and we need to get rid of. For example, it was a culture in Igbo land to kill twins, right? And now we don't kill twins anymore. I mean, just think about it.
Okay, I was in one.
Do they still kill twins in Nigeria?
I was in one. I think area council.
Yeah.
In Abuja when I was 7.
Yes.
So we were out for community service development, and we went to a place. They said it's an orphanage home, but when we get in there, we find out that it's not an orphanage home. This was just last 2 years.
Okay.
We saw children there, and they told us, no, these children are not orphans. They are people that their parents wanted to kill. So at the point of the killing, we ask them to give all the children, and we hold them. So people still kill.
Okay, they still kill. Okay, but it's not in the center stage of our culture anymore. Do you understand?
Like you're still in Abuja, but you don't even know that again.
Okay, exactly.
And it's actually happening in
okay,
Abuja.
so it was our culture before in Igbo land to kill twins, for example, right? So my point is, their culture is created by people. People create culture. Culture don't create people, right? But culture also changes.
Yeah, it does.
So we have some part of our culture that we like the decorative aspect of the culture, which is the singing, the dancing, all of that. I would like to keep those, right? Because they are nice. But if we have a culture whereby women, for example, I mean, these are part of things that birth the gender equality and so on.
Yeah.
In so many parts of the world, women were not allowed to work. We're not allowed to, like in Saudi Arabia, for example. So until recently, women were not allowed to drive.
Yeah.
So there are some things that make you complete as a human being that could be your culture. And we have to strive and advocate for those things to change.
Yeah.
Because they do not make sense.
Okay.
And they are not helping anything that, to me, anything that affects a human being to be fully and wholly themselves, and you have to depend on another human being, is not a culture that serves everybody right, and we need to eliminate it. That is my take.
Yeah.
Now, let me just quickly finish.
Okay.
But if you look at cancel culture is actually canceling people because your point of view, your ideology doesn't align with mine. And that's it. So we build echo chambers. And before you know it, because of social media, for example, they are built on algorithms.
Yeah.
And we can be discussing something about t-shirts right now. And when I open my phone, Instagram, I don't know how it works, but all I see is t-shirt adverts on my feeds.
Yeah, algorithm, yeah.
On my so
true.
it creates echo chamber. So if you're looking at, oh no, I want okay, for example, I want let me say no education for women in the world, for example. All you start saying is different extremist group, advocating that it's bad to educate women, blah blah blah, and you are not putting yourself in situations whereby you can dialogue and engage and listen to people who don't actually think like you, to understand their perspective and point of view, that why are they thinking education is important for women, and you're just so you create an echo chamber. Only people that look like you, people that think like you, are the people you are interacting
and you know
with,
that
which is
right
terrible
now,
for
it's
us.
terrible actually. So what people actually do right now is like they create groups for themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe in this, you believe in that. Okay, come, let's be here together.
That is it. That's
I
what we are
believe in
doing,
that. I
man.
believe in this.
And
let's
guess
just
what?
Be here together.
It is polarizing the society. We are now more polarized than ever before. Oh, you think we're together? You think we're intimate? Social media, technology has inevitably emphasized how different we are than how similar, because we're now less intimate than we should be. The more the technology advances, the less intimate we are.
Yeah, sure.
Because we have created these groups, like I'll still go back to the echo chambers, and I'm on WhatsApp. Different WhatsApp group. Only people who look like me, and those are the conversations I entertain.
Yes.
You're on Clubhouse, you're on whatever you're on, and those are the.
So I'm this kind of person that I don't actually have like a lot of people around me.
Yes.
So people would say maybe I don't like friends or something. No, it's not like that. I just actually like to deal with my immediate environment.
Yes.
So the only people actually hang around are people that, to be honest, conversing with them is easy.
Yes.
Like people that I anything I say they easily understand, they can relate. Do you get?
Yeah.
I must not have to struggle to make them understand. We would not have to like argue over things. But I like to be like in that kind of space. I don't know if you understand me.
Yes.
So no matter how we try to see how we can have more conversation about cancel culture, people will still hold on to their actual beliefs and their norms, their whatever. And if it doesn't align with yours, you're not even valid. I don't know. There's a lot of things that need to be.
The thing is, the social exclusion of cancel culture, in my view, is counterproductive, especially when it is put in the wrong hands.
Okay.
Because what we do is we use it to target people, right? So now, okay, let's put it this way, right? Cancel culture, what birthed cancel culture was the idea of to hold people accountable. So a lot of people have done things that are bad, have committed great crimes over the years. You could say racism, and how they justified it with the Bible and religious books, and said, oh, okay, some people have to be below some certain people in societal structures and standards, right? There's discrimination against women, right? So cancel culture was created to call out those people and say, what you did was wrong. What you did allowed people to be grossly uneducated. Like a lot of black people were uneducated for many years. It's a disaster in America. They were able to afford loans to build houses, unable to start their businesses. It has destroyed generations, right? So cancel culture was created because of that. It was created from a good place, I must say, right? To call out those sort of people and say, no, you can't do this.
Or now it's been misused.
Yes, you can't discriminate against some certain level of some people. You can't go on television now or in a public space and insult autistic people and call them some derogatory names,
exactly.
right? It is bad because there are a lot of people, mothers that have children that way. There are a lot of people that are actually that way.
But do you think people are ready to have people are ready to have more conversations? Do you think we're drifting towards that place where people want to sit and have more conversations, and maybe in the end they would understand you and you would understand them and you would accept them and they would accept you and you guys all? Do you think people are drifting towards that?
So thank you for that. That's what I said earlier, which is, if your ideology is that fragile, then your idea is bad. If your ego is so weak that it can't stand criticism, or scrutiny, then it is bad. It is flawed.
I would not want to believe in this, but I have my reason.
Okay.
So my reason is, now let's talk about a little bit about what's currently happening. About feminist stuff and all of that.
Yeah.
So recently we've had a lot of people out there saying they're feminists. They could be Muslims, Christians, or whatever religion they come from, but they said they are feminists.
Yes.
People usually call me out to be a feminist.
Okay.
I'm a man, but they call me out to be a feminist.
I mean, I'm wondering, people call me out to be a feminist.
Exactly. So because I see things from a perspective where, women should be given opportunities.
Yes.
Do you get? But people that are not feminists just believe that women shouldn't be given all opportunities.
Yes.
But I believe they should be given all opportunities. Do you get?
Yes.
So now, feminism is actually a very wild and a very big topic when you go deep down the topic. So now it's very weak actually, because even in places like America, if a feminist is talking, to be honest, no one listens to them. To be very honest, the general public does not listen to them.
Does that where you're taking us to?
Does that mean? Now, I'm just giving you an example.
Okay.
So does that mean because of they are weak in what they're trying to say? What they're trying to debate on.
Yeah.
People are not really interested in it. So does that mean it's not valid or?
No. Okay, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that if your point of argument, right, is not solid enough, when it withstands, if it's not solid enough, it won't be able to withstand criticism.
Do you think their own argument is solid enough?
Of course, it is solid enough.
But then, I just see it in a way where...
No. So let me explain something. I'm still going back to say that when something, if you say something, if your point of view, your ideology, your idea, if it's not strong enough, it won't stand. Now, this is what I'm saying. A bad idea will literally expose itself and becomes weak. You don't even need to destroy it. A bad idea destroys itself, right? The idea of feminism, some of my friends call me feminist. I might not necessarily use the word feminist to describe myself.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason I necessarily don't use that word to describe myself is because over the years I've realized that people have different definitions
of
what feminist is.
Yeah.
And because I used to call myself a feminist. And when I saw different ranges of definition, so I defined what feminism is to me before I started conversation. So to me, feminism is giving men and women equal opportunity. Do you understand? Now, equal opportunity doesn't necessarily warrant to equality of outcomes.
Yes, exactly.
And that is a huge topic.
Everybody have their own definition.
Yes.
Everybody
so
that
feminism is different. We'll discuss that. But later. The point is, human beings should create an environment where we can dialogue, where we can have open conversations. You shouldn't chase people away from the conversation table or the conversation room. Because what you do is you're maligning them. You create a polarized society whereby you're excluding them from the society.
Yeah.
and that
So
destroys
how about
society.
if you want to have the conversations with them?
Yeah.
For instance, you have you come with something that seems to be new to the people you're dealing with,
Yeah.
and you want to have the conversation with them, but they are not willing to have the conversation with you because they're just like they're not even listening to you.
You know what I'll
they
do in that
just know
situation? You know what I'll do in that
what
situation?
would you do?
I'll let my character show it. So you have to lead by example. You have to try to begin at home. You have to
Something-
show.
Something
So
that
if you
really
think,
hard to
if you
convey.
really want an equal society, a society where women are just as valuable as men, for example, then you start doing that from your home. You give your daughters and your sisters opportunity. You start in your office.
No, that's something a little bit simple to actually look into. So, well, we're talking about that issue of true color
Yeah.
earlier. So,
Yeah.
for instance, you've been good throughout whatever,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden something I don't want to know what happened,
Yeah.
and they found you stealing, for instance, and that's, to be honest, that's like the first day
Yes.
you stole due to something,
Yes.
and people will be like, oh, he's a thief. He's a thief.
Yes.
Do you get? And
Yes.
that's how they will define you.
Okay,
and they will
so-
continue defining you in years.
Yes.
So how would you? But I'm sure if they would sit to have a conversation with you,
Yeah.
they will all be like, okay. Do you get? So
Yeah.
how would you now then come through with that? So
Okay.
there are like extreme cases.
I
I don't want to go
understand
to
you.
extreme cases.
Yeah.
But this is just like an example of
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in that case, for example, then we have to check why the person stole. If you stole bread, it's probably because you're hungry, and some religious books even exclude that, and they would even say you should give the person, the food items the person stole, because the person hunger probably led the person to steal. But that's not making a case for thieves, but I understand your example.
I guess.
So basically, I mean, we can't. The truth is, we can't even fully exhaust this topic.
We
Is
cannot.
it?
I mean, we
It's a very broad
It's a
one.
very broad topic.
It is a broad one.
But I would really love to see us living in a society
Yeah.
where the moment there's an issue, let's sit down and have a conversation about it instead of judging or trying to cancel, of course, people.
Yeah.
Like, let's sit down, have a conversation, talk to me about what you feel. Why did you say? Did you get?
Yes,
But
absolutely.
then
So
I
I
would
would
love
like
to
to
see us
read,
going to- okay.
so because we're coming to the end of
Yeah,
this. Yeah. So I would like to read an article by Alexandra Dobbin.
Okay.
So she's actually a freelance reporter at the Insider Reviews,
Okay.
and she wrote, and I quote, how to healthily hold someone accountable. And what she identified was 3 good ways
Okay.
to hold people accountable. The first is to gather the facts, and she said that one is to fully lay out what happened and why it is a problem. The second is to reach out directly to the individual or institution
Okay.
when possible. And the second she identified is afford an opportunity for the other side to be heard. If an apology is given and remediation agreed upon, there is a potential to move forward once everyone feels ready to do so.
Yeah.
So I believe those are the very important aspects
To look into,
to look at holding people accountable.
Yeah. I know that. Okay, we are right. The time is almost over.
Yeah.
And if we would go on and on, we have lots of things to talk about.
Yes.
I think maybe the listeners to tell us if they need a part 2 of this podcast. So we would come
Absolutely.
back with more
Yeah.
points and discuss it like more deeply.
Yes.
Because we're over time.
Yes. So Usman, it's been an amazing conversation. Having this conversation with you.
Yeah, sure.
And I also felt the reason I really wanted to discuss cancel culture is because I feel it is very, very important that people dialogue. I mean, part of why I created SMA Talks is because it's important for you to hear from the other side.
Yeah.
This podcast was created to challenge conventional narratives, and we have to be able and willing to listen to all sides of the story. So,
Sure.
my brother, it's been an amazing one
Yeah,
discussing
it
with
is.
you.
This is like 2 years coming. We've been planning to actually sit and have a podcast. 2 years. I mean,
Yeah.
700 and something days.
Yeah.
So, but then,
We'll work on our timing going forward.
sure.
All right, then. So have an amazing one,
Bye-bye.
and you guys, it's a bye for now.